Hello everyone, Rishi this side. So today we'll see how you can make a responsive progress bar in Figma with the help of constraints and variables. So right now this percentage value we are populating with the help of Figma variables, and there would be a couple of things which we'll be covering in this tutorial. So let me just show you a few of them. So first thing is we'll see how we can create this progress bar truly responsive. As you can see, it has updated and our fill rate is matching with our percentage. So next thing we'll see that how we can match the percentage with our animation value. So right now, if you see our animation is taking 10 seconds. So if I reduce it to 5 seconds, so with the help of a formula, we'll understand that what kind of variables we need to update so that our percentage value will match with our animation timing. So right now it is taking 5 seconds and our percentage value is almost matching with our fill rate animation. And last thing, we'll see that how you can create these kind of patterns in Figma itself. So without a further ado, let's get started. So let's create our first element, which will be our progress bar fill. Let me zoom in a bit, take the frame tool and let's draw our progress fill bar, and let's keep the width to 300 for now and height 20 pixel. Let's give it a corner radius maybe of 20 pixel and give it a fill of black 20%. Hit Command R or Control R and let's rename this to progress fill. Let's take rectangle tool or hit R. Let's draw our fill. Hit Command R or Control R, rename it to fill. And let's give this radius of maybe 20 pixel only. And if you keep it like this, the width as well of 20 pixel, it won't have a proper corner radius. So let's increase the width a bit maybe, and let's move this bit in the negative x-axis and make sure your clip content is on for the progress fill. Let's select the fill layer and give it some color, maybe blue for now. We'll change it later. And let's add constraints for this fill layer. Select this one and add a constraint of top left is by default, and hold shift and click the bottom constraint as well. So right now what it will do, every time I move up and down, fill layer will also adhere these constraints, and it will adjust its top and bottom according to the parent. And if we move left and right, it will update its position, or rather I should say it will stick to the left corner of its parent. Cool. So let's convert it into a component. Hit this create component or Command Option K or Control Option K, Control Alt K, sorry, on Windows. Progress fill is converted into a component. Let's add a variant. Let's rename this to complete. Let's type or maybe state, and let's just select the fill layer and move it all the way to the right side of the parent and fill the whole area. And let's add the constraint of right as well. Remember, hold shift and click. So let me just hit Alt and drag a copy out of it, and you can see every time I reduce the width and height of component, our fill layer is adjusting to that adjustment. So now let's animate this one. Let's go to prototype window, select the first variant and draw a connection, and select after delay for the event here, and let's reduce it to 1 second only. We want to start it immediately. And we'll use, I think by default you will see instant, but we need to change it to smart animate. And let's keep it linear and 5000 milliseconds, which goes 5 seconds. And one thing you need to remember is always keep your layer names same whenever you are using smart animate. Otherwise, it will not work as you expect. So let's drag a copy of this in our viewport. So this is just a frame. I've given it a flow starting point and we named it to viewport. Let's hit Option or Alt and drag a copy out of it in our viewport. Let's just go to design window and align it to the center. Select our viewport and hit this play button. So as you can see, our animation is working fine. It is taking 5 seconds to complete this one. And let's just check the responsiveness of this bar as well. Let me just reduce the width and maybe increase the height in it. Go to prototype window, hit R. Sometimes R doesn't work. We need to right click and reload the tab. You can see our progress bar is fully responsive. Let's just test it out one more time. Let's decrease the height to maybe 8 pixels and increase the width all the way to the edge of our viewport. Almost edge. With R doesn't work. Right click, reload tab. Nice. So now that you have a fully responsive progress bar to use in your components, now it's time to add the percentage to this progress bar. Let's take a text tool and let's add percentage here and let's drag a copy out of it and with 0. So we'll be assigning variable to this number layer and the percentage layer will be constant. So let's select both of them, hit Shift A, put them in an auto layout. Let's call it res percentage. Let's rename this layer to number. This will maybe unit. So let's just see the size of this 12 pixel. I think that would be fine in our case. If you want to increase or decrease, feel free to do so. And now let's create a variable here. Click on this local variable. I have already made a variable, but let's delete these two. And just to keep things clean, I have created a new collection here, progress bar, and in that I'll keep the variable. So let's create a number type of variable, call it percentage, and default value will be 0. And now let's select this number layer and assign the variable from here. And remember, we have a progress bar collection. Underneath that, we have percentage variable. So it is assigned. So let's go again to local variable window. So now if I change the value here, 34. So by default value will update here. So let's keep it 0 for now. And let's convert this one as well into a component. And let's add another variant here. And let's call it loop back state. So in Figma right now, we don't have any looping condition available, but to create a loop, we'll switch back and forth between these two variants. So let me just show you what I mean. Go to prototype window and select the number layer. Let's call connection. And we'll say, so we'll be adding a condition here. We'll say So let's remove this one. We don't need that right now. So in the condition, we'll say if the percentage is less than 100, set our percentage value to percentage plus 1. So which means until the percentage value is less than 100, it will keep on adding the percentage with an increment of 1. So if we test this out, let's zoom out a bit. Let me resize the changes for the progress bar. And let's drag a copy of this in our viewport. Let's check this one. Again, it reloads. Okay, so right now we have kept the event on click. Let's keep it after delay so that it automatically triggers after 1 millisecond. Hit R. So right now you can see it is only working once because there is no loop. So to create a loop, let's do one more thing. After delay, we have used a conditional statement. Let's add one more thing to do here. We say change to state loop back. So what it will do after 1 millisecond, it will change to this variant. And let's do one more thing here to create a loop. Let's draw a connection here, and instead of on click, let's say after delay of 1 millisecond, when we pick instant, change back to default. So this will keep on switching between these two variants. So that is essentially how you create a loop in Figma. So let me just refresh here. So now it's working. So you can see our animation is working fine, but our percentage increment is not matching with our progress bar here. So initially when I was trying this method, I was using hit and trial to see, okay, how much delay I need to put in for changing the percentage so that it matches our animation timing, which is 5 seconds. So right now the time is, the delay is 70 milliseconds. So still it's more. So then I thought about, okay, there should be a formula that with the help of which we can derive that, okay, how much delay I need to add in this percentage variance so that every time we change our animation timing or animation value, it should match with that. So I'm not really good with maths, but with the help of AI, I was able to come up with a formula here. So this total time means the animation time you want to give to your progress bar. So right now I have given 5 seconds. So that means 5,000 milliseconds. So delay is something which we need to find. And then increment is a 1. So right now we are not incrementing by 2 or 3. We are using 1. So our start value is 0, S, and end value is 100. So this Figma error margin is something which can vary from machine to machine. In my case, I need to subtract an additional of 30 milliseconds to match the percentage count and the progress bar animation timing. So based on this, the formula becomes that, okay, so delay is something which will be equal to time into increment divided by our end and starting value, and minus Figma error adjustment. So let's see how with the help of this formula we can adjust our delay in the percentage count so that our percentage value matches with our animation window. So let me just increase the time here to 10 seconds. So that means 10,000 milliseconds. So let's just draw this here near to the formula and zoom in a bit. Select our first variant and see the condition here. So now the amount of delay which I need to exactly match our percentage value with our animation time. So that would be 10,000 divided by 100 minus 30. So 70 milliseconds. So here we have updated after delay to 70 milliseconds. And let's go back to our animation as well, progress bar animation, and let's increase our time from 5,000 to 10,000 milliseconds. And let's see things in action here. Let me just reload the tab. So you can see our percentage is almost matching with our progress bar timing and animation. So next thing would be, let's see how we can create the animation pattern there, which we saw in the original example. So let me zoom in a bit. Let's take our frame tool. Let's draw our frame maybe 40 by 40. Let's remove background for a while. And let's take our rectangle tool, draw a rectangle, and hit enter to go into edit mode. Select the bottom two vertices and let's just move them something like this. Let's change the color to white. And let's rename this to pattern. And let's create a component out of this. Command Option K or Control Option K. Let me just drag a copy out of it. And let's create a couple of more copies here. Now, once I update this parent component, we'll see that we'll get an instant preview here with which we'll be able to make a pattern. Oh, nice. In a couple of moves only, it made the pattern. So right now you can see that, okay, our pattern is repeating fine. So select this one. Now let's create an image out of this pattern. So right click, you can go to copy and say copy as PNG. You can also use my shortcut as well, copy as PNG, and it has copied. Let's hit Command V or Control V. So now that we have a repeating pattern image here, you must have guessed what I'm going to do next. Select this one, copy this fill image, and select our fill layer in both the variants and hit Command V. So now let's change the properties here from fill to tile, and maybe let's decrease this to 20 is too less because we are seeing the bottom pattern as well. But I think this is also interesting. So you can see the possibilities, right? So let me just increase it to maybe 25%. And let's decrease the opacity to 10%. Less 20. And let's change the fill from solid to gradient. Let's change something nice, maybe. And let's change the direction as well of the gradient. You need to select an individual layer and move this like this. So by default it is vertical. We can make it horizontal. And let's do one more thing. Select both the variants and add a stroke outside, and let's increase this to 2 pixel, and this also let's make it 30%, and select the fill layer in both the variants. Now add a few effects here. Instead of drop shadow, let's add inner shadow, and the first one we can increase the blur and keep it white. And let's select this one, hit Command D or Control D, duplicate this one, and let's move it in the minus direction. You can see it's coming at the bottom, and let's change it to black, and maybe increase the value a bit of the opacity, 40% maybe, and let's increase for the white one as well. The 6, let's increase the glare a bit as well. So whatever suits your needs. So right now you can see it has been updated. And let's see it in action. Nice. Now you have a fully responsive progress bar. You have a percentage loader here, which is matching with your animation timing. And one last thing that you can do is combining these two components and create another nested component so that you can use the component as it is. I mean, both the components in one go. So select these two. And let's see the distance here. It is 11. Let's round it off to 8. Select these two. Hit Shift A to put them in a frame and apply an auto layout. And let's rename it to progress bar. Create a component. Now remember, we need to set constraints to these variants as well so that it works properly. Now to keep this component fully responsive, remember to change your progress bar fill to the fill method, not fixed width or any other method. It should be fill container. So which means whenever I increase the width of the container, it will increase or decrease the width of progress fill as well. Let me just copy this and delete this one and put this new component here in the viewport, and let's see things in action. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that right now our loop is currently running back and forth between the two components. If I click on the screen, you can see it's flickering here. To make it more efficient, and we should not be allowing Figma to unnecessarily use a resource, let's go to our component here, percentage component. Let's zoom in a bit and let's create another component, another variant here, and we'll say stop loop. Say go to prototype window, hit the first variant, and here we can see that there is nothing we have given in else condition. So which means if we complete this one, let's say once we have hit the mark of 100, it will go back into the else statement, and here we'll say change to stop loop, and we'll make it instant. And here let's remove the delay, so nothing should happen here. So right now, once we hit the mark of 100, this looping will stop and we won't be unnecessarily using any resource from the Figma end. Let's just see once it's complete. So now I click on the screen, there is no flickering happening over here, which means that okay, our variant has been changed to the stop loop and we are not unnecessarily using any Figma resources to create an infinite loop of the variants. So this was a small tip you can add while creating loops in Figma. So you have a fully responsive progress bar with your own pattern, a formula as well, and voila. I think that would be all. Feel free to comment down the video if you have any doubts, and do share your own tries or your own hacks, how you have achieved this one, if in case you have achieved before this. Thank you so much, guys. See you in the next one. Bye bye.